So, my dear learners, you all are welcome here in our study of American literature. My topic today is the character of Sethe in Toni Morrison's novel Beloved. As we find in Toni Morrison's novel Beloved, Sethe is the central character there in the plot. After the death of her slave parents, this very black woman has bitter experiences of life, bitter experience of brutal slavery rather. She is the wife of Hell, who has disappeared before the start of the novel. She is now the responsible mother of Wagler, Howard, and Denver. In fact, the very novel reaches its climax revolving around the character of Sethe. We see her as an uneducated mother, whom death is far more emancipatory than the very life chained in the bondage of slavery. Earlier, Sethe did not have a reasonable way of dealing with a temporary crisis due to her ignorance. When the school teacher came to 124 Bluestone to find out Sethe and her children, she became totally confused, frightened, and even irrational. In such a fit of frightened confusion, she killed her own daughter, Beloved. Actually, she tried to save her daughter, that is Beloved, from servitude, to avoid her possible sexual harassment and even rape. Later, of course, she is haunted by the ghost of her daughter, Beloved. Thus, instantaneous problem threw her in a situation which made her suffering later. Yes, that her circumstances made Sethe unsympathetic and unkind woman. But, my dear learners, it is not all of Sethe, the protagonist in Toni Morrison's anecdote of Beloved. Here in this novel, we get Sethe as an alienating character. She lost her husband, where, how, and why she does not know. Being frightened by the murder of Beloved by their mother, her two other sons even ran away from her. Her community ostracized her during Sethe's trial on charge of murder. A spell of total isolation overshadowed her in her small house at 124 Bluestone. During their slavery, her mother once abandoned her in total loneliness and loss. Thus, as a child, as a lady, and even finally as a mother, Sethe is utterly alone, terribly left behind. Her only companion was then the memory of her sufferings. My dear learners, nevertheless, Sethe moves ahead for a recovery, but it also involved her past memory, which was never a happy one. Dear learners, whenever Sethe tries to look ahead, her terrible past confronts her to make her gloomy once again. Nevertheless, she tries to forget the past and make up for it. Instead of mourning, accepting the working present towards wholeness. Dear learners, last but not least, we get a touch of magic realism through the activity and movement of Sethe and her character here in this novel. In such a dreamlike quality, some imaginary, outlandish, and even surrealistic elements are presented. In her visual imagination, Beloved is appeared just to add Sethe's horror. In fact, Sethe is haunted by beloved all the time. As a daughter, beloved awaited for the deepest feeling from Sethe, who also liked her from the core of her heart. At last, after a small or short spell of presence, beloved disappeared like lamb's dream children. Actually, conversation with a ghost is only possible in a magic realism, and we get a slight touch of it through the character of Sethe here in Toni Morrison's novel. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much, my dear learners. Thank you all.